Good afternoon and welcome to the Developer Show, a program where we showcase up-and-coming developments, talk investments, and how you can find yourself whipping up pancakes in the beautiful Olive Hill, because that is what is on the menu for this afternoon. My name is Chad and I'll be your host, and today we are joined by Pieter van der Merwe, from the Head of Developments at Karis Properties. Pieter, hoe gaan dit meneer?
Dit gaan met my baie goed, dankie.
Pieter, thank you so much for taking some time out today to join us. I wanted to launch into our first question, and that is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, about your team, and what a potential buyer can expect if they choose to purchase through Karis Properties?
Thank you very much for having us. It's a real honor. And when you ask me to tell you something a bit more about myself, we like to rather talk about our clients and our developments. But you've asked, and yes, we are very proud to be part of the Karis property development team. Just from a background point of view, a bit of in 2000 we had our first development. So we've been through the ups and the downs of the development industry and the property industry per se. So it was valuable school money that we've paid. And we believe that stands us in good stead to assist and to advise our buyers and our clients alike, whether they're first-time buyers or investors. We've been through all of that, and we've had the marvelous opportunity through the years to surround ourselves with a team of highly expert not only advisors, but also strategic partners. So whether it was developers that we have gone through with a fine comb in getting the best of the best into our fold, property owners, land owners that would like to sell, joint ventures that we were able to put together. So yes, from 2000 we've had the opportunity of trying to fine tune, and we've learned a lot, and we are still learning. Markets are changing. The current COVID situation, I think, is a beautiful example of how one must learn to adapt and make sure that you keep abreast of what's happening as well.
I think there's a bit of reassurance that comes with deciding on an estate agency that has that lineage and has that experience, that just puts any potential buyer at ease, knowing that they're going through this process with someone who's seen it all before. So that's very, very good to know. I'd actually like to move on to that development now, Olive Hill. And could you introduce us to Olive Hill, talk a little bit about it, tell us what really was the thought process the developer went through when choosing that area?
Yes, I think that would be one of the main things that we always tackle, is to first do a lot of market reconnaissance and to gather as much information about the area before we take on a piece of land and then look at the development. So the market research is so important, and I think it's always important there to have valuable resources as well. So apart from all the normal surveys that agencies would usually use, I think private property also stays such an important role player in gathering the right information for the right time, because good business is all about timing. So it's so important to stay abreast and to see what is happening and to have partnerships where you can lock in and pull that information. So Olive Hill is in the heart of Ekurhuleni, in such close proximity to Oliver Tambo International. I think it's within 11 kilometers. If you look at the main arterial routes, the R21 is a mere 7 kilometers away. So for commuters, that is a very important aspect. And with the huge developments that happen, especially in the logistics arena, surrounding the airport area, there's a huge demand for sectional title units, with a bit of a difference. And we can talk a little bit about the difference later on. But it's so important just from a location point of view. It's always my first peg of integrity in the ground when we look at a development, and it starts with location. If that is what the market wants at that point in time, that is the land that we then focus on.
I like that we've mentioned location as much as we have, and you've also mentioned that market research. And I'd want to ask you, how does that tie into the potential of investment within this development?
Oh, it is absolutely pivotal. The one thing about a development, you can't start a development and then go back and realize that you've either pitched the wrong product at the wrong time or in the wrong location. So it's so important to have that integrity and to have that peace of mind that it's the right place, the right product, and at the right target market as well. So we focus a lot on that. And if I may say that, in hindsight, which is the perfect science, we've done a lot of homework on Olive Hill, and we felt very comfortable. And then all of a sudden, national lockdown came. And I think everyone out there, whether it's, I think across industries, a lot of uncertainty, and especially with a new development being launched, we also were speculating on, how the market would react after this lockdown. And it was quite heartwarming when Private Property launched the property sentiment survey, just to find out that the tracer that we shot was absolutely in the right direction. And it was just reconfirmed again that Ekurhuleni, or the old East Rand, is still under the top 4 destinations for buyers in the country at the moment. So Olive Hill is situated in the right area. If you look at the pricing strategy, again, the survey which was done by Private Property confirmed that sweet spot in the market between for units under $1 million. So that is the bulk of the market. So we're very fortunate that, yes, I think we have used a lot of our experience and information available in the market. So we're very confident that it's at the right location and that it will be a huge success.
Yeah, you mentioned the unit price there, and I think that must be the spot where it's the first time buyer's paradise to move into a unit that matches everything in terms of investment and also still hits the affordability notes there.
Very true. Yes. It's such a fine balance. You need to focus on price because price is important. But in our minds, as you know, from the Karis development team, we try and maintain a very strict balance between the price and the quality. Unfortunately, there is a tendency of focusing on price and then taking shortcuts in making sure that it's affordable. In our minds, a development, whether you're a first-time homeowner or whether it's a unit, your 10th unit in your portfolio that you purchase, it's an investment. And we approach each and every buyer as an investor. So I want the first-time homeowner to have that experience when they deal with the Karis team, that I'm an investor and they treat me as such. It's most probably the biggest single investment that most of those buyers would have ever done in their lives. So absolutely. To take their hands and walk through that process and make sure that it's an investment and not just a purchase.
I think that there is really the turning point of which estate agency do you want to move into with. And hearing that is a massive relief, because it really is the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. Your first household, straight through to your last household, is such a life-changing decision. So hearing that definitely really does put a whole sense of relief on you, knowing that your estate agent is focused on it from that point of view as well. I'd like to move back onto this development here, and can we talk about the units? What's on offer there?
Sure. We have focused, again, after a lot of market research, on a 2-bedroomed unit with a full bathroom. So when we say a full bathroom, it's a shower and a bath, basin and the toilet, tile to the ceiling. So although we wanted, again, to make it as affordable as possible, we have gone to the extent of really looking at top-end finishes, which we would like to introduce as a differentiating factor as well in the current competitive environment. And then it flows into a London-style kitchen, very modern, fully equipped with all the built-in cupboards, and an open-plan living room area. And the 2 bedrooms are spacious. The developers sometimes get a bit upset with me because I'm cut from the old wood. I like the rooms to be slightly bigger than the smaller modern ones. And then also, as South Africans, we need a bit of a balcony or a patio just to be able to open a sliding gate or a door and walk out onto a patio and just enjoy the evening breeze or just get some fresh air. So the unit size is 72 square meters in total. And if you look at the launch price, the units come in 3 different price brackets. For the ground floor, the first and the second floor, they start on 777,000 as a launch price, which, if you equate that back to the square meters that I've just mentioned, it means that, and that is a total inclusive price. That's inclusive of all costs, bond originating as well as transfer fees. So, you do that calculation and you realize from an investment point of view, you're sitting with a unit total cost just over 10,000 Rand a square, which, again, from a differentiating point, it is massive. Similar products in the market would sell anything from 14 to 17, 18,000 a square, all cost included. So I think it's very well pitched from a pricing point as well.
It seems so. And on that note, I do think we should have a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back after the break. This is The Developer Show, and my name is Chad, and I'll be your host. We are joined today from Karis Properties, Pieter van der Merwe, who is talking about their new development, Olive Hill. Pieter, just before we took this break, we were talking about the units, and I wanted to move into what kind of flexibility is there in terms of customizing the different finishes.
With it being a sectional title unit, we have gone to a large extent in consulting with interior decorators. If you go onto the development site as well on private property, you will see that the finishes that we use is absolutely upmarket. And so it was pre-selected. So we do not offer any flexibility to the extent of different color schemes and all of those things to a large degree. We try and keep it to the professional input from the interior decorator team that we've appointed, to make sure that there's a theme that we pull through, and that there's it's really a high-end development that we want to put into the market.
I see. So you've tried to hit that middle ground with a taste that's going to appeal to everybody.
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
What were the design inspirations for this development?
Pardon, you broke up there.
No problem. I asked, what are the design inspirations for this development? What can a buyer expect if they have to walk into this development? What are they going to see? What are they going to feel?
From a design point of view, we wanted to create an open flow. So although it's a sectional title unit, you don't want to get the impression that you are boxed in. So the whole idea was to create an open flow and an aerial feel and a homely feel to it as well. But I think also combined to that, from an investor point of view and also from a home owner's point of view, is it was also designed with a high level of focus on future maintenance. So it's a low maintenance building but with superb modern finishes. So it's got a very stylish and a modern feel to it, while we're still creating a low maintenance development as well.
That's exactly what I think everybody wants to hear. Nobody wants to buy into a development and then realize a couple of years in the future that it's costing them more money than they initially budgeted for.
Absolutely.
If we talk about the rest of that development, what are the amenities available to potential residents?
Again, the focus was on trying to keep future levies at an all-time low. So we've decided to rather design the units in such a way that we live inward and not outward. So we have opted in this development away from a communal swimming pool or a clubhouse, because we find that in a lot of the developments that becomes used by a certain number of people, and the others just contribute to the cost of those things. So we've rather opted to spend the money inside the unit, as most of these would be young up-and-coming people spending a lot of time at work. So when they get home, we want to make sure that they walk into a unit and feel they can kick their shoes off. They don't need to go to a clubhouse. They need to do that in their own private space.
I think that's going to definitely resonate with a lot of people, because I do agree with that kind of sentiment. Pieter, I wanted to also ask you, after we were chatting during the break and before this interview, what advice would you give to buyers looking to invest in property today?
I think there could be a host of answers, but for me, the things that work best is always the most practical things. So we have spoken about location. You don't want to stay too far away from home. A lot of things that would be of importance would be finishes and security and all those common areas. But something that I think is important when you buy into a new development is to make sure that the offering is backed by a team of people that will take your hand and walk the walk. So as the Karis development team, we like to rather see ourselves as an extension of the developers team, and we also integrate forward into becoming part of the buyer's whole process. So it's a handheld. And that, I think, is an important aspect when someone would buy into any development. we don't want to just introduce you, sell, and move on. It's a journey that one must enjoy to get to the final destination. And for me, that is something as a buyer that I missed when I was still young, and which we offer to our clients in saying that let's take this journey, let's get you excited through this whole development process with construction, and it sometimes looks a bit rough and tumble, but to take their hand and guide them through that. And it's all about relationship and confidence when you buy into a development. So we are there right up to the end when they sign their happy letter and they say, I'm so glad I can sign all my snags off, and now we hand over the occupancy certificate. So that handheld process, to me, should be one of the most important aspects, that you deal with a team that has got your interest at heart, not the commission, but the journey, and to turn that into a lasting experience.
We spoke a little bit about construction there, and I did want to ask you, at what point will the development be ready, the different phases of the development and the full development?
The first two phases will be constructed simultaneously, and that should completion date should be towards the end of the first quarter of next year. We try and be a bit conservative in that, with the uncertainties of current times looming over us. So, one would rather like to set the goalpost a little bit later than to underdeliver. But it should be early in the new year. The first two phases would be ready for occupation.
Okay. And has COVID affected the timelines of the construction project? And if it has, what steps has the developer taken to mitigate these?
Yes, absolutely. It has had quite an effect. We've done a lot of the pre-work, prior to COVID and the lockdown. So the services, all those processes of basic services have been installed. Things that usually take a lot of time with developments would be all the different approvals from council. Luckily, we've gone through all of that. So those things are under control. I think the things that might have an effect going forward, and it's very difficult to pre-plan those things, would be if there would be an unfortunate situation where we need to go back into a level 4 or a 3 or something, God forbid. But I think the moment you talk about those things, we need to also focus on how we can mitigate the risk involved in that. So we've got suppliers lined up and backup plans. But I think from a buyer's point of view, it's always important to realize when you buy into a sectional title development that the money will only flow on completion and when you take occupation of the unit. So if there is a short delay, it will not have a cash flow effect from an outlay point of view. So I think we need to, as things develop, try and balance that. Do we have all the answers at this point in time? How the market will roll out due to COVID? No. But, we've got all the protocols in place on site from the workers and suppliers. So, we would like to apply all the basic precautionary measures. But apart from that, it's a bit out of our hands there.
I can completely understand that. Nearing the end of this interview, I did want to just maybe move a little bit into some advice for our consumers and our customers. And I wanted to ask there, for first-time buyers who are looking to invest in developments, what advice could you give them before signing an offer to purchase?
Yeah. I think the first thing for me would again be to make sure that you do not overexpose yourself. interest rates are at a 50-year low. It is a buyer's market, but still, any investment should be approached in a cautionary way. And that's why it's so important to deal with a competent team that will take you through all the processes. Don't jump in and just sign an offer to purchase. Look at all the aspects that could play a role. It's the levies, it's rates and taxes. Small things that sometimes first-time homeowners oversee, and they find themselves in a difficult spot. So I think a bit more investment advice goes well with property advice. So it's important to have a team that can take you through that process and build that relationship of trust and understanding, and to know that, don't stress or stretch yourself to the maximum amount that you can afford on a unit. Make sure that if you buy that unit, I would rather want a buyer to get into one of the units and take occupation and enjoy his stay than to get home at night and lay awake worrying about the repayments. So I think it's so important to make sure that all the costs in your OTP are taken into account, that they're not caught off guard by any unforeseen cost and unbudgeted things.
So it comes right back to use the right team that can cater for all your property needs.
Absolutely.
And on that note of using the right team, I want to say to you, I want to actually ask you, your company has been involved with private property for a long time now. And how has that relationship evolved? And how has private property helped you just become a better real estate agency?
If I may compare that to some of the reality shows on TV lately, there are shows where talent is uncovered and mind which would have never been in the marketplace. So for me, that would be using that kind of platform for an artist. Private property is the same platform for us. Without that platform, we're not seen, we will not be advertised. I think we have moved through your platform, or through private properties platform, close on 2,000 units in the last 4 or 5 years now. So for us, it's an absolute important strategic partnership, if I may call it that. I cannot foresee that any developer can have or can launch a successful development without making use of private properties development offering. It just puts you in the right space to be seen and heard. So it's such an important aspect of our success story.
Pieter, now I really do appreciate you saying that, and I can definitely tell you that we do on a day-to-day basis look at what kind of value we can offer our clients, and we try and expand on that with every single decision we make. So I promise you it's only going to get better and bigger from this point forward. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Pieter, thank you so much for joining us. I don't think there's a viewer that wouldn't be interested in Olive Hill. And for you at home, thank you for logging on and taking this journey with us. If you have any questions for next time, please drop them in the comments, and I can't wait to see you this time tomorrow, where we'll be speaking with Devin about one of his developments. Do tune in. Thank you and goodbye.
Hi, I'm Nicoline Terblanche and I'm part of the SA Women's Hockey team. And I'm the Technical Director of Tax Hockey. And I'm also the assistant coach for the first team ladies. I moved to Fairy Glen about 5 years ago. Fairy Glen is a really safe place and the people are really kind. Some of my friends live very close by in suburbs like Equestria and Olympus. In the morning I will wake up, make myself a cup of coffee, go for a jog in the Fairy Glen Nature Reserve, or even just in the neighborhood. It's safe, quiet, and the environment is really nice. I love Fairy Glen because I'm near the city, but I'm not in the city. I like to go to Pretoria Country Club to clear my mind, on my own, to relax and just to enjoy a round of golf. In Pretoria East we really have nice places to visit like Menlyn Mall and Brooklyn Mall that is really close by. There are also a lot of top schools in the area like Pretoria Boys High and Hoërskool Menlo Park. One of the most beautiful places to see the whole of Pretoria is the Fort Kapperkop viewpoint. And that's my neighborhood.